Hi, Jen. Good morning. And I am going to share my screen really quickly as everybody is being admitted in. Okay, here we go. Perfect. Okay, I'm excited to share with you guys. I have a hodgepodge today, but I went back shoot, it's popping up on me. I went back and looked at one of the mindsets that we did, morning mindsets in the very beginning, which by the way was like 80 weeks ago because I have them numbered, and it was interesting to go through and look, and I found a couple of different things that we hit on once before, but it's been 2 years ago, and we had a lot of great feedback. So I wanted to share some of those, but first I want to do a different gratitude today. I want you to type in the chat, people that know me know that I love blank. And what would they say? And mine would definitely be this. Frankie, my dog, who is actually asleep right here somewhere. But people that know you know that you love what? Type it in the chat so that we can see. Hip hop. Yep. Love it. That's a good one. Stuffed pandas, wine. These are always so funny. I love it. Yep, I was Heather. That's exactly what I would have said for you. Diet Mountain Dew. Liz, shoes, totally. Cats, dogs in real estate. Tyler, cards for sure. Or you could say cameras or race cars. Lots of things for you. You're totally on point with the brands, Tyler. Okay, so we are going to get started, and a couple things I wanted to start with. So first of all, did you know that actually negative thinking works? And here's some simple stats to prove that negative thinking actually works. I'm going to go backwards with this today. You actually, you increase in your errors. Your errors increase and can actually go up 30% when you're thinking negatively. Negative thoughts are 4 to 7 times more powerful than positive thoughts. That's crazy, honestly, if you think about that. A negative thought in your brain, it sends like your neurons, and it's 4 to 7 times more powerful than a positive thought. 83% of illnesses are exacerbated by negative thinking. Saying things out loud makes them 10 times more powerful. And if they're negative, they have a 4 to 7 multiple. So you're actually increasing your chances of them happening by 40 to 70% if you say something negative out loud, which is insane. Negativity in the news, the consumption of negativity, 3 minutes in negative news, increase in 27% that you have a terrible day. That's probably why I stopped watching the news like 3 years ago, because it was so negative. Negative people also, you really have to keep negative people, negative things like out of your proximity, because sometimes we don't realize how much of an impact it has. When you're trying to change your life or your mindset, you have to stop with speaking negative, and you cannot do it out loud. So of course, not thinking it is key, but not saying negative things out loud is that much more powerful. You want to try to not think negative, but sometimes you can't help that. But the fact of when you say it out loud, 40 to 70% of it could actually happen. Sarah, that's why you're not allowed to ride in the car with Heather anymore. So here's some examples of this. World Series Red Sox 1986 game. It is the ninth inning, life lessons. That's right. Ninth inning of the game. The game is over. A guy named Bill Buckner boots a ground ball between his legs, ends up losing the game, and then the World Series. The biggest error in a championship game that was likely ever made. Then there's the after story. 6 years ago, 1986 interview World Series. They show an interview that had been hidden for 9 years. Buckner says on the interview, the dream would be winning the World Series, but my biggest nightmare would be letting a ground ball go through my legs and losing the World Series. So saying it didn't make it happen, but it did increase the probability by 40 to 70% because he spoke it into existence. How many of you guys actually believe of like speaking things into existence? I definitely think that you can. He recoiled to his subconscious plant under pressure, because when you're under pressure on things, you go back to your to your subconscious. So he reverted to that. Here's another example. People who are not doing well in school typically don't do well on the SAT. This guy who was an underperformer, not a great background, he kind of came from like an underprivileged world, takes an SAT, and because he promised his mom he would in May, gets the score back in June of 1480 out of a 1600, which is like insanely high. Ed Milet shared this on his podcast and he got an 870, just to give you an example. I never took the SAT. I don't know if some of you guys did, what your score was. But it's called cognitive dissonance, I believe is how you say that. What you believed to be true and what happens are far different. His mom confronted him about it and said, did he cheat? And he said he tried to cheat, but he actually wasn't able to. He made the decision based on that score that he would start going to class. Because he got a high score, he was like, okay, now I'm going to start going to class. I'm going to start paying attention. His teachers saw him differently. Maybe they missed something in him before. He wasn't hanging out with the same people anymore. He ends up going to a community school, onto an Ivy League school, gets his MBA, and his life was totally changed. He became an incredible magazine entrepreneur. Then he learns 12 years after all this guy's success, he gets a letter from Princeton, doesn't think anything about it. The SAT board did a standard review of their test taking policy, and there were 13 scoring errors, and his was one of them. It turned out that he actually only scored a 770 out of 1600. People think the 1480 is what changed his life, but what really changed his life was him acting like he got a 1480. And it completely changed his mindset and his life. And I just think that is like one of the coolest stories ever. So I want to give you guys like some stories and parables today, because I think that's how we learn really well and we increase our mindset so much more. So there's a parable I'm going to read to you. One behavior separates the successful from the average. And it says, a certain farmer had become old and ready to pass his farm down to one of his two sons. When he brought his sons together to speak about it, he told them, the farm will go to the younger son. The older son was furious. What are you talking about? He fumed. The father sat patiently thinking, okay, the father said, I need you to do something for me. We need more stocks. Will you go to the Sibby's farm and see if he has any cows for sale? The older son shortly returned and reported, Father, they have 6 cows for sale. The father graciously thanked the older son for his work. He then turned to the younger son, the one who he was originally giving the farm to, and said, I need you to do something for me. We need more stocks. Will you go to Sibby's farm and see if he has any cows for sale? The younger son did, and he was he did as he was asked. A short while later, he returned and reported, Father, Sibby has 6 cows for sale. Each cow will cost 2,000, whatever that is, let's just say dollars. If we're thinking about buying more than 6 cows, Sibby said he would be willing to reduce the price by 100. He also said they're getting special Jersey cows next week. If we aren't in a hurry, it may be good to wait. However, if we need the cows urgently, he said he would deliver the cows tomorrow. The father graciously thanked the younger son for his work, and then he turned to the older son and said, that's why your younger brother is getting the farm. So it talks about a mindset of successful people taking initiative. Most people only do what they're asked. They do only the minimum requirement, and they need specific instructions on most things they do. And you can think about people that you work with, or maybe people, bless you, Rochelle, maybe people that you know. You're the one I can see right now, so I saw you sneeze. They have to be like, they have to be told in every single thing that they're doing. Conversely, those who become successful are anxiously engaged in a good cause. They don't need to be managed in all things. They don't just do the job, they do it right, and they actually do it complete. They also influence the direction for how certain ideas and projects can go. Most importantly, those who become successful, they initiate. So it was just like the younger son, he found out all that information instead of just saying, oh, there's 6 cows for sale. They reach out to people, they ask questions, they make recommendations, they offer to help, they pitch their ideas. Becoming successful requires being proactive and not waiting for life to come to you. It means you're on the offense, not the defense. You're active, not passive. And when we're talking about mindset, in my opinion, this is the game changer. It can be draining to work with people that are the opposite of that. And Linda McKissick always says it's like pushing a what did she say? Something weird, like pushing a limp noodle up a hill or something like that. I always get it wrong, but it's very true. In every organization, there are a select few employees who would be difficult to replace. For the most part, most people are like the older son in this story. Most people could be easily replaced. Most people are passive and reactive. They require specific instructions. They need to be governed and managed and all the things. Initiation always involves some degree of risk. You're putting yourself out there and there's a chance you could fail. Conversely, doing only what you're told entails no risk and carries no responsibility. It's playing safe. And I really feel like if we're thinking about our mindset, I loved the parable of the two sons, and I love thinking about your mindset this way, because I don't know about you guys, but when you read that story, I would definitely always want to be like the younger son, the one that's actually going out and has a great mindset and is excited about those things. So the conclusion of this one is, are you an initiator? Because you absolutely can be. But if not, one thing is for certain, life isn't going to wait for you. So would love for you to type any aha that you got from this, from that parable in the chat. And I'm going to go on to the next part of the mindset today. I told you guys it's kind of a hodgepodge, but I was just looking back through things and I was like, man, I just love all these. So I'm going to stick them together. We shared this before. It's been, again, like two years, I guess, probably ago. And I needed the reminder. So when I read it this morning, I was like, oh, I love this one. 8 lessons people learn too late in life. So the first one is important people come and go, and that's okay. And I just had this conversation with somebody last week. Unfortunately, the most important people in your life can become strangers overnight. Fortunately, total strangers can become the most important people in your life overnight. This process hurts, but if accepted, it serves to improve the quality and suitability of the people in your life. So I really believe, like, when you write something down or when you think about it, it completely can change things and it becomes more powerful. So you don't have to type it in the chat. If you're brave and you want to, you totally can. And I would love to read them. But I just want you to think about, or maybe even write down on a piece of paper, the first name only of someone who was important that is now gone from your life. Or a stranger who came into your life and is now very important to you. And what does that look like? And just think about who that person might be, or who those two people might be. And you can just jot them down in front of you, because it'll really help you. Number 2, your diet isn't just what you eat. As you get older, you realize that your diet isn't just what you eat, it's what you watch. It's what you read, it's who you follow, it's who you spend your time with. So if your goal is to have a healthier mind, you have to start by removing all the junk from your diet. And I think this one is probably one of my favorite ones. And it's so true, right? It's not just the stuff that we eat, it's all of the other things that technically make up your diet. So I want you to think about this question: what do you need to remove from your diet to have a healthier mind? Is it a friend? Is it a habit? Is it worry? Are you like watching too much news, too much Netflix? What is it that you actually do? Social media. Yes, Jamie, that's so funny, because that's the first thing that popped in my mind. And I recently went back to setting, I have like a lot of things I need to get done in a short period of time this week, because my friends are in Charleston this week and I really wanted to be done every day by like 3 or 4ish. And so I went back and set on my phone the thing where I'm only it's my phone, like it shuts down Instagram and Facebook after 1 hour. And I'm trying to really stick to that, because it can be consuming, right? It can be a lot, especially when your work, we want to share the stuff that we do on social media, but it's the scrolling that gets you. Number 3, sometimes you have to let people down to be happy. You and your mental health are more important than your career, your money, and other people's opinions. That event you said you would attend, your partner's mood, or your family's wishes. If taking care of yourself means letting someone down, then let someone down. Your self-love must always be stronger than your desire to be loved by others. And I felt like during the pandemic, a lot of people kind of realized that even more, for sure. And oh gosh, okay, you guys are asking about the setting. Okay, I'll go get my phone before we end and I'll show it to you. But this is definitely important. So I just want you to think about and ask yourself, on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being terrible, like you suck, to 5 being you're awesome and you're doing great, where would you rank yourself at actually taking care of yourself right now? And just be honest with yourself. Bless you, Heather. Number 4, never let rejection lead to self-rejection. And this is a huge one for your mindset. A person who has experienced rejection fears rejection. And a person that fears rejection tends to push or run away before they can be rejected. In their subconscious minds, they have avoided rejection. In reality, they've been rejected again, this time by themselves. So I want you to think about a time you've been rejected. And now that you look back, do you feel like pain around it, or was it a blessed rejection that led you to something better? And I love thinking about that. I can think of several that I was like, oh my gosh, this is terrible. It was like such a rejection during the time. And now that I look back, I'm like, man, this was like the best thing that ever could have happened, to be honest. Number 5, own your responsibilities and own your future. You're not responsible for your trauma, but you are responsible for breaking the cycle and not hurting more people because of what happened to you. You will never control your future if you let your present be controlled by your past. What happened yesterday may not be your responsibility, but how you behave today is. And I like this one. And I would love for you to type this in the chat, yes or no. Have you experienced something in your past that sometimes you dwell on it today in the present? I would say almost every one of us would probably say yes to that. Oh my gosh, Jess, I forgot to put the May challenges again. And Heather even reminded me. Oh my gosh, you guys, I'm such a slacker. I'm so sorry. I will 100%. I will get that done today. It will be the thing that I do before I leave to go play with my friends. 100%. Yes. Yes. Okay. You guys are saying yes. Yes. So we have to think about not dwelling on the past and focusing on the future. Number 6 is a really good one. Quality over quantity. Life is about quality, not quantity. One quality friend gives you more than 100 acquaintances will. One quality relationship can give you more than 100 flings for all you single people. And one quality experience gives you more than 100 drunken nights for all you drinking people. So the nutshell on this one is definitely quality over quantity. So I just want you to think about what the word quality actually means to you. Especially when you think about your life. I mean, you may think about this with your money, or with a lot of things. Number 7, fairy tales will make you unhappy. Obsessing over the things that society said you're supposed to do will kill your happiness. I think it goes a lot with comparison and how we get stuck in this trap of comparison. Don't listen to the fake fairy tales of how your life is supposed to be going. You don't have to go to college at 18. You don't have to get a job at 21. You don't have to buy a house at 25. You don't have to get married at 30. You don't have to have kids at 35. I'm very off on all of those things. Everyone is different, and your path to happiness will be too. And yes, Jamie said exactly. I think that might be a Craig Groeschel quote. Comparison is the thief of joy. 100% yes. So what's one thing that you obsess over that could be killing your happiness? When it comes to what you feel like you are supposed to have already done or you are supposed to be doing in your life, do you have anything? Is there anything that you're like, man, I feel like I obsess over this because it's a fairy tale, or it's something that I feel like is supposed to be my path. And then number 8 is the last one. The fun is yours. If you want to enjoy your life, don't subscribe to other people's definition of fun. Fun doesn't have to mean drinking, partying, socializing, doesn't have to mean vacationing if you don't like to vacation. Adam's idea of fun is going to Bora Bora. You guys might feel like that's great. I looked at it on a map and had massive anxiety, and I was like, we're not going to Bora Bora. That's not my definition of fun, to be on a speck in the middle of the ocean. So fun can be a night in alone. It can be getting lost in a book. It can be a deep conversation. It can be a walk, creating art, playing music, doing anything that you love, but your fun belongs to you, and you have to make sure that you define it. And I think sometimes we get stuck in figuring out, what we think is going to be fun in our life, but it really might not be. So I really want you to think about this. And this is a really good question. What is your favorite fun thing to do that you need to do more of? And I would love if you guys would be bold enough to post that in the chat. What's your favorite fun thing to do that you need to do more of? And I actually really need to think about that one too, myself. But I know that we all have them. Amy, I should have known that you would post that. Love it. Yep. Singing karaoke. That's such a good one. Amanda said reading. Dawn said travel. Yes, Dawn, that does not surprise me about you. Creating art. Love that. Cooking, traveling, seeing friends, travel. Yeah, I knew travel would be a lot of people's, which is super fun. Definitely. Seeing friends and traveling. Local events. Yes, Sarah, that's Adam and I always do that. I always say, let's just go rip and run around town and just see what we get into. Golfing, Rochelle, no, I didn't know. I have seen you golf. Yes. Oh, Larry said golfing too. Yep. There you go. Y'all can golf together. Might have to make a trip to Canada, Larry, but so think about something fun that you want to do more of, and I hope that gave you guys. Oh, Tyler, that's a good one. Making more fun YouTube videos. Yep, you're so good at that too. So good thing for us to end on today. And I just want you guys to go back and think about that parable too. And if you feel like you're an initiator, because that plays a big part in your mindset, whether you are initiating or whether you're not. And are you the older son or the younger son, asking great questions and doing all those things? And then also go back and think about your negative thoughts, because I'm going to make sure today, I'm going to try to speak nothing out loud today of negativity. Oh, iPhone setting. Yep. Okay. Hold on. If you are interested, hold on. Don't go. Let me grab my phone. Let's see here. Okay. Okay. Got it. Okay. Okay. So go to settings and go to screen time under focus. And you can't see this probably, but go to screen time under focus, go to app limits. It has an orange little like hourglass next to it. And then click it on at the top. And then mine says Instagram and Facebook. Well, Monday through Friday set for 1 hour. And then you can choose the apps. You can do a custom time. You should be able to figure it out from there. You guys got that? Okay. Cool. Love it. Awesome. Yes. Okay. Great. Great. How does your mind know if something is positive or negative? Great question, Jess. I would say, Liz said good. Your preconceived notion. I would say how it makes you feel. Yep. How do you feel about it? I feel like you would feel that it was negative. So I'm so glad you guys are going and changing your social media. Yay. Okay. Awesome. All right, guys. Have a great rest of your week. See you later. Bye.